Hi, Karine. So happy to have you here today to talk to prospective franchise owners who are, looking to possibly become a right-at-home franchise owner. Would you mind sharing with me just your name and location?
Sure. Hi, Jessica, and nice to see you again.
Yes.
My name is Karine Alquier, so it's pretty difficult to pronounce because I'm French, so it sounds a little bit weird. And I am located in Florida. I own two territories, North Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach a little bit, and Tamarack, and to the south to Hollywood.
Oh, fantastic. And then when did you become a right-at-home franchise owner?
So we've signed the contract. It was just nearly a year ago now, because it was in April 2022. And it takes a little time to set everything on tracks and everything. So we're now open and ready to operate.
Fantastic. And tell me a little bit about your background before you became a right-at-home franchise owner.
So before I became a right-at-home franchise owner, I did something totally different. So I was still taking care of people, but from another point of view. I was taking care of companies for 20 years. For 20 years, my gosh, so many years. So I was a financial director and accounting controller. Okay, so I began my career as an accounting controller, and done this all my life long. And to a certain extent, I wanted to do something more, not only for companies, but more for people. That's why I became a wealth manager a few years ago. It was in 2011. But that wasn't the type of, work I wanted to do for people, because I ended always helping them with many things apart from wealth. So I was helping, with computers, with their children, with the paperwork, with everything. And I just ended up thinking, but why are you doing something that you don't enjoy to do at all? Because you only
Mhm.
speak about, money, 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 money.
Yeah.
Um, so, but there's a part of this business that you like, you really like, you enjoy doing this, and it's the part when you share, when you bring your help to people, when you share story with them, when you become a little bit a part of their families. And I think that was in my DNA from the beginning, because both of my parents, they were nurses. So grew up with a huge family with many, many people. I had hundreds of uncles and aunties and grandmas and grandpas, because they were just part of the family. They were
Mhm.
there for all the birthdays, parties, for Christmas. We were invited everywhere, every time. And I really enjoyed this. I knew every patient of my mother, and I like to do this. I like to go with her to visit them. Um, Thinking it back, I thought, okay, now you're nearly 45. It's time for you to do something that you enjoy. So
Mhm.
that's why I chose this industry, because I enjoy doing this. I've been my uncle POA, because he was
Mhm.
disabled, and was the caregiver for my grandparents also. And now that I don't have them anymore, I
Mhm.
need something to be able to share this again, and to do this again.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that. Now, moving from France, can you share with everybody like how long you've been in the United States and kind of what your transition looked like, going from France to opening up a business in the United States?
Okay, so coming from France, it's a little bit more complicated than it can be for a US person who wants to become a franchisee. Because before you can become a franchisee, you have to become to have a visa, okay, to be able to work here in the US. For me, it has been an E2 visa, so an investor's visa. So from the moment that we've signed with Right at Home, it was in April 2022.
Mhm.
From this time on, I had to have everything on tracks to get my E2 visa. That has been a pretty complicated, okay, because you have to to show that your business is fully ready to operate before you can apply for this visa. So I had to do this, and I did this for my husband, Alex, who is my co-investor here in the US, and also with our children, because we have 4 children. So we had to get all of this on tracks. That's why we've been able to actually live in the US. It was only in August 2022. Okay, so it took a little time to do all of this, to do it properly. It was a little bit long, but we took the time to do it. And if you do everything from the first time as it has to be, there's no problem at all. Okay, it's just about being organized, and that's pretty okay. So from this time on, it was on August 2022. So the office was already ready. We had all the material. I had my office staff. So I had everything ready to begin, applying for the licenses and everything to get ready to operate.
Okay, perfect. And then, and like you said, I mean, it's a much more lengthy process than it is for somebody who's in the United States, because you don't have those other hoops to jump through. So how did you keep yourself on track to being able to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make a business decision. I'm going to start applying, to get an E2 visa in the United States. What was your process there? Because we do have a lot of people from outside of the United States, and they want to open up a business in the United States. But I think a lot of people just struggle, like, hey, how do I start? What do I need to do?
Okay. First of all, I have something to say. I have applied for another franchise owner in the senior care industry as an E2 visa holder. And I can say that though I was ready to sign with them in the beginning, they were ready to sign with me, but I could feel that I was not so welcome, and they were a little bit cautious just because I was an E2 visa holder and not an American person, okay, US person.
Okay.
So thank you, because Right at Home never did this. They just trusted me from the beginning, and they have always been very transparent and helpful throughout this process. So thank you for that. That's why I chose Right at Home also. It's not only because of this E2 visa attitude of the other franchise. It's a general, very transparent, very helpful. So really, I appreciate that. How to keep yourself on tracks. Okay, so first of all, the first thing you have to do when you apply for E2 visa, just make sure that you choose the right business. Okay. Senior care, it's not a business that you do only because you want to get an E2 visa. Never.
Absolutely.
You can do this when you want to purchase a restaurant, when you want to, something I would say easier to do. That's not an easy industry. You have to do it because you have it in your heart, from the bottom of your heart, because you deal with people, with fragile people, and you deal with them every single day. And it's a very regulated activity. Here in Florida, at least. I know that in other states it can be easier. That's not the case in Florida at all. It's highly regulated. So you have to make sure that you really want to do this. Once you're sure that that's what you want to do, okay, then you have to find a lawyer, okay, an immigration attorney, to be able to help you throughout the process. For my part, I made the wrong choice, and I had just an attorney I had to fire and do it all by myself. So please don't do what I did.
Well, yes.
And just choose the right one, because it can be very challenging other way.
Sure.
Personally, I'm very organized. I mean, always have every document. It's scanned on my computer. It's saved everywhere. I have paper copies. So I'm always ready to gather whatever document needed. I'm always ready to have it and to be able to send it right away. So that was It's a lot of documents, a lot of steps, okay, that you have to fill before you're able to make this application. Once you have this, once you found the lawyer that you want to work with to file the application, you can ask for an appointment, okay? In the Paris French embassy, it's very long. So please pay attention to the time frame.
Okay.
Attention, because if you don't do this, you will have an appointment only maybe 4 months, 5 months, maybe 6 months after your application.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
forget that you have, by the time that you have the appointment, you have to have the office and the business ready to operate. That means that if you have an appointment that is very, very late, you'll have to pay the rent, you'll have to pay the people, you have to pay everything, the insurance and everything. So just make sure that you do things properly on a time frame point of view. Once you have this and you've made your appointment, so that's a very good thing, because you know what, by the time that I was ready to submit my application for license, I had to perform business plan. Okay, I have to show a business plan for the E2 visa. So all along the process, that has enabled me to have a very objective insight of my business, of what I wanted to do, of what my objectives were. So that was very, very nice. Once you have your E2 visa, then the next step is to take the application for the license. 2 licenses: companion care, personal care. Companion care, pretty easy, pretty quick, no real problem. Be careful. If you are an agency, people often don't look after only companion care, and you never know. They think they want companion care, and once you get to have the assessment done, then you see that what they need is not only companion care, and it can slip. It's pretty easy to slip, and you cannot do that.
Absolutely.
So you have to have this personal care license as soon as possible, and that's another challenge. So Right at Home can help and support a lot all along the process. But you have still, as for the E2 visa, you have to be organized. You have to be a process person, and you have to know exactly what to do, what you do. You have to find your accountant, very important also. And if you do all of this, that's pretty okay, because by the time that I had my E2 visa, it was in August 2022, and I had my companion care license, it was in September. And I've been issued my personal care license the 19th of December.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because in every state, the licensure is different. So, in Florida, you've got your own set of steps you have to take in order to get that. Now, knowing that you have been operational for the past couple of months, what does your typical day look like?
Actually, I'm only really operational from the 19th of December.
When you got, okay, perfect.
Because I had my personal care license in December, so that's
about
only
30 days.
Really ready to operate. So December, it's a holidays and everything, so nothing really goes forward. So it was only in the beginning of January that we've began to really operate. So first of all, the first thing you have to do before you do anything is to find your caregivers, because if you are beginning to do marketing, to go and introduce yourself with referral sources and everything, and you've got a customer and you don't have caregivers, I have some news for you. You won't be able to do anything. So
exactly.
You have to find your caregivers. So a huge part of our days is to is towards recruitment. So what, in terms of recruitment, first of all, we had to design, the job descriptions and everything, just to make sure, because it's a very competitive industry. Everybody wants to hire the best caregivers, and it's not only about money. And I would even say that's not about money at all, because
Sure.
I've been able to hire some caregivers that were paid more by other agencies, and still they came and worked here. The reason, you have to pay attention to them, you have to show respect, you have to help them, you have to design a project with them, you have to give them some tools for them to be able to see themselves in a few years still with you and happy at work. So that's a huge part of what I did, setting up the ATS, the applicant tracking system and everything. So that's a big part of what we are doing. We are setting up appointments with the caregivers. We are chatting with them. We are gathering the documents. We have them fill the paperwork and everything. Okay, so that's a big part of the day. Another part of the day, as I just starting operation for the moment, is to launch my marketing campaigns. Okay. Never neglect that, because especially if you want to settle in Florida, as I told you before, it's very competitive. Nobody waits for you here. There's a lot of agencies. You have to find a way just to stand out of the competitors. So you have to visit all the referral sources. You have to get your name out there. So 2 days a week, for example, Lisa, which is my alternate administrator and my registered nurse, and we go out and we meet all the hospitals, case managers, the physician's office, the assisted living facilities, and everything that has to do with the senior care, or not only seniors, by the way, because for hospitals, for example, we can help with discharge plans, because it's their interest that the patients don't come back to the hospital with not healed, or with an infection or anything like this. So it's their interest that you do this, that we do this for them. We can help, and that can help them save money. That's something that you have to tell them. So that's what we are doing actually right now. We have a few customers already. So we just have, once it's set up, you just have to, you schedule with your caregivers if there is a problem, because that happens. One of the caregivers, she had a car accident. So you just have to be ready. It was on Sunday for sure, because such things only happen on Sunday.
Yep.
So you have to be able to call all the caregivers and find somebody that is ready just to take the shift at the very last minute. And so that's something that happens just every day. That's the way it works. We make also a home assessment for the customers. So once you've been able to have an efficient marketing campaign, so you begin, your phone begins to ring. That's a very good thing. And once it begins to ring, you have to answer the phone, and you have to get your potential customer, which is just a prospect so far. You have to convert this prospect into a customer. So the first thing you have to do is to listen to what they have to say, to tell. Okay, so don't talk too much, just listen to what they need. And then your point here is to get an appointment for an assessment, for in-home assessment, because that's what we are doing. We do the in-home assessment. We make we take some time to this. We dedicate some time to this, because it's important that you are not in a hurry when you do this. You take time with the customer. You have to see how you get along, if they like you, if you like them, and everything. So there's sort of alchemy that can be created from this moment on that makes you happy to work with them, and makes them happy that you work for them. So my typical day, I would say, is just to do all of this in the same time. I have my office staff also that Lisa and Donna who help me throughout this. And we still have some, challenges to come because we have some accreditations to get still. So we still have a lot of paperwork and to get everything operational, all the systems, the phone system, internet, how you save all your files on the server. You have to deal with all of this, how you get paid, so what you paid system that you choose to perform the payrolls. So you have to do all of this at the same time. You have to be pretty energetic to do this.
Absolutely. And being operational for a month. I mean, I've heard some feedback about things that you're doing that I think are just absolutely incredible. I think that you are such a great franchise owner for other franchisees in the system. I heard that you actually sat down with a candidate, had him come to your office and spent over an hour with him. Just really giving him some feedback and advice and sharing your experience. How you said that you were offering or people were coming to work for you that you weren't even able to pay as much. Well, I heard that you had made little gift bags for each of them, and you're actually going out because they're so busy. You're going out and dropping those off. And from the first time that I met you, the one thing that I really felt a lot was I was so excited to watch your future because I kept thinking Karine has got so much passion, and that passion is contagious. You can feel that you really care. And I can't even wait to see what you do in Florida. Other candidates, owners. I mean, everybody just loves having you in this system. And it's going to do so much, in your state. And it's really going to create a ripple effect for so many people. I am so proud to have you in my network. I think that you are just an absolutely amazing woman. And you're just doing a lot of good in your community. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. I'm just going to, I won't cry. No, thank you so much. It was, it has been a real pleasure to have Robert here. We've chatted maybe 2 hours long, and it was just I don't like to prepare this. He has some questions, and I could perfectly understand his questions because I've been there once, and some people helped me and have been kind to me and were ready to give some of their time, and they're very busy persons, just to help me without nothing in return. So now it's my turn to do this, and I do it with a great pleasure because Robert is absolutely I had no doubt about Robert because he's going to do great, believe me, really, really great. So thank you about that. It's a real pleasure for me to be a part of the Right at Home family. And I will never regret my decision because when I had to choose between two franchisors, I just listened to my heart,
Absolutely,
my feelings. And that's all I did. That was not about figures, about analysis, about data. No, you just have to listen to what your heart says. Will you be able to work with those people, to be passionate about it, to enjoy working with them? And the answer is yes, you will enjoy working with them. You will enjoy meeting them, and you will love Right at Home. So
awesome.
thank you.
Absolutely. And then really quick, would you mind, like, if, just knowing that you went through this process about a year ago, where you were starting to look at a franchise organization, what do you feel like is one piece of advice that you would give a prospective franchise owner?
As I said, that's not a business that you can enter if you're not passionate about it. Don't do it for the money, because when you look at the figures, many people just say, wow, that's a great industry. And if you do it only for that, you won't be successful. I guess the very first question that you have to ask to yourself is this really what I want to do? And once you've done this, If you want to do it with a franchise, which was my choice, okay? So you have to be careful. Every franchise system is not the same. I mean, there's a specific mindset, specific way of working. So you just have to dive into the processes, to dive into the systems. Be careful, ask all the questions. The only question that is a bad question is the question you don't ask.
Yep.
That remains unanswered. Okay, so don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid to. Sometimes I know my husband always says, "Oh my gosh!" When we were in Residence Week in Omaha, we heard all the day long, "I have a question. I have a question." Yeah, I always have a question, and that's a good thing. So
Absolutely.
have question, ask them, and be sure that you have the answer.
Absolutely. Yes. And like you said, it's that passion that goes behind it, because if you don't have that passion and people don't want to work for you, and you don't take those time with clients where they feel valued, and you're their company of choice, the numbers aren't going to make sense, because the numbers are driven by all those other pieces.
Correct.
Like you had mentioned earlier, you can't have caregivers, you can't have clients without having caregivers.
And even your customers won't want to work with you unless they feel that you're somebody caring. You have to have it in your blood.
Yes. And it's all those little personal touches. And Karine, I am so appreciative of your time today. You have got such a special place in my heart. I knew that there was something so special about you the first time I met you. And I am just so looking forward to watching your continued success. I appreciate you. Right at home appreciate you. The other owners in the system appreciate you. We are so glad that you made that leap of faith. You moved from France to the United States, because we absolutely love having you here.
Thank you so much. And I love being there with you also, guys.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Karine. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you, Jess.
Bye.